Recognize this current Hockey East defenseman? How about one of the top scorers on another Hockey East club? And what about this former Hockey East star and current Olympian? Well, here's a clue. Sacco name is having a nice run in Hockey East. After 3 years, Joe left Boston University last season for a shot at the pros. He is currently playing for Team USA.
So the job for the interim head coach and Medford native Joe Sacco and the players, recapture the team's identity of being a hard-nosed, stingy team.
I've been with this organization for 10 years now, and I've been with some of the players that long, maybe some a little bit less, but they know who I am. They know how I act around the locker room and one-on-one individually. I'm not going to change who I am.
So the Bruins win their debut game under their interim head coach, Joe Sacco.
I'm excited for the opportunity. This is like original six franchise to be back. It was always important to me. We all feel pressure every day when we come to this job. We want to make sure that we're exceeding expectations, not just living up to expectations. So there's always pressure here every day.
Joe, I think most Bruins fans are well versed in the fact that you're a Boston guy. You grew up in Medford. You had a great college career at BU, your great amateur career, 700, 800 games in the NHL. But you've been in the coaching business in this game longer than you were as a player. And I think the Bruins fans, because there's always a new generation of Bruins fans, I think they'd be interested to know Joe Sacco as the coach, you know, his philosophy, what drives him, what keeps him in this business, and those types of things I think would really resonate with the people.
I think when it started for me, it was towards the end of my playing career. I realized that it was coming to an end soon, and what was I going to do post-hockey? And just remember the last few years of playing, really paying attention to the coaches, even more so than when I did earlier on in my career. Paying attention to the details, how they went about their business, and just thinking that this could be something that I could do post-playing career. And the teaching aspect was always intriguing to me. I always felt when you played for a good coach, you remembered that coach, and you learned a lot from him. And so I always felt like that teaching aspect, if I got into coaching, being able to share my experiences when I played as a player, and then obviously when you start to, learn your craft a little bit more about coaching, share that with the players as well. And like I said, I got into coaching. It was maybe a year or so after I retired from playing. I was lucky enough to start out in Lowell, which was Colorado's farm team at the time. They were a split affiliate with Carolina, and I was thrown in as the assistant coach with zero coaching experience. And I worked with a guy by the name of Tom Rowe, who was also another local guy. And Tommy was coaching Carolina's farm team, and that's who we were the split affiliate with. So long story short, that's how I got into coaching. And I think as far as to now, what motivates me still to this day is obviously, well, it's the players. For me, at the end of the day, it's how can you get individuals to be better as part of a team, right? You're trying collectively to win as a group, and then individually you have guys running their own races. And so you're trying to do both. You're trying to have guys have successful careers, but at the same time, you're trying to shape a team and understanding that it's in everybody's best interest if the team does well. Everybody will benefit, and that's the challenge that I really like.
I don't know if you agree with this or not, but I think most players, when it is winding down their career, and they do give some consideration as to what are we going to do when we're done playing, and we all think we could be pretty good coaches. When did it really take root? Was it that first year in Lowell? Because a lot of guys might try coaching and then they abandon it, but you've stayed with it and made an awesome career out of it.
Yeah, it's been 20 years, I think, or somewhere right around there since I haven't had a year off from coaching. So I've been very fortunate in that regards. I've worked with good people, but I would say the first year was a big learning experience. Like I said, I had no idea.
And it didn't turn you off. It didn't turn you off.
And it didn't. I mean, there's long hours, there's travel involved. I had a young family at the time, and my kids were just starting to, they were 8, 7, and maybe 3 at the time, or 8, 5, and 3 at the time. And so I give my family a lot of credit for obviously allowing me to pursue that career. But I would say it was after the second year or third year that I realized this is something that I could see myself doing more on a regular basis, something that hopefully would, eventually lead to something more.
So how does the reward that you get for being, a quality coach, how does that offset the time and the sacrifice? I mean, you're at the rink probably 3x compared to when you were a player. I mean, that's a major commitment, and you have to chase it. You know, coaches are hired to be fired,
Right.
and you got to chase the job opportunity.
I guess it goes back to the passion that you have for the game and the job, right? I think you have to have the passion. If you don't, it doesn't matter what you do in any aspect of your life. You know, you're not going to have success. So, if you're passionate about something and you work hard at it, and you're dedicated and you put the time in, typically you'll get rewarded. But it's long hours. It's a lot of time away from the family, but and it's a sacrifice, right? It's a sacrifice for them. It's a sacrifice for me, but the reward, I guess, like I said before, at the end of the day, is the ability to work with players, share your experiences that you've had, and hopefully, you can teach them how to be. There's always the systems and the X's and O's, but also teach them how to be good pros and what it takes to be part of a winning culture, which is something that I've really benefited from being here in Boston.
Yeah, I got to imagine that's really rewarding. But again, especially the higher levels that you coach in, it's about wins and losses. It really comes down to that. It can be all about the plays, and that can be your driving force and getting the most out of them and maximizing their skill sets within the team structure, and that's phenomenal stuff. But then it comes down to wins and losses. And I'm curious about, you've been in it for 20 plus years. Have the players changed? Have the athletes changed in those 20 years in how you go about doing that, getting the most out of these guys?
Well, before I answer that, I should say the other main reason that I'm still in this business and I enjoy it is obviously for the ultimate prize, right? We're all in it. Like you just said, this business is about winning, and at the end of the day, you're here to win the Stanley Cup.
Right.
And to do it here, there'd be no better place. We came close in 19. Fell one game short as the assistant. We had a great run, but that's really, at the end of the day, besides everything else, what really drives you. Drives me, anyways, as a coach. But everybody says every generations change, right? I would say the one difference now with the generation is the players today, as opposed to when I guess you or I were playing, they want more feedback. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I think it's a positive thing.
Right.
I think, when you talk to players, if someone's not playing well or they're not playing, say they're not in the lineup, they want that feedback. They want to know why. They want the information. And I think to me, that's been the biggest difference, is the amount of feedback they want. And I look at it in a positive way. I think it's good because that opens up the lines of communication between the player and the coach. I can think back to when I was playing, if I was a scratch or didn't play much back in the days, didn't really hear why a lot. Now there's that information that they get and the reasons why.
Well, I'd like to peel that onion a little bit more, but before we get there, and if we do have time to get there, I think the Bruins fans certainly want to know about the state of the Bruins right now. Let's go back to the first 20 games of the season. Couldn't really get some traction. Win one, lose one, 2 steps forward, 1 step back, maybe 2 steps back. Expectations aren't being met by anybody, by the coaching staff, by the players, by the organization. Individual player performances not really where you needed it to be. And then it ends up being a drastic move and they make a coaching change. Now, I'm curious how it changes for you as somebody that was the associate coach that now is the head coach, and how does that change your job description and how you go about messaging to the players?
It's a great question. When the change happened, obviously it's it's shocking for everybody, right? You lose a really good coach, even a better person, and then you say, okay, now it's my job, it's my opportunity to help this team get back to where we think it should be at that particular time. And these guys, I've been with these guys for 10 years, not all the players, but a number of them. I've been here for 10 years now, so a lot of the guys here, they already know me as a person. They know who I am, they know how I act, and so you go from that associate role to the head, right? And so there's that transition, but you can't change who you are. You're going to change certain things about, you have to make harder decisions, when it comes to the lineup. There's more on your plate. You have other things to deal with now than you did as an assistant or associate coach. But I think at the end of the day, because of the relationships that I've established with these players going back from that amount of time, and even the ones that haven't been here 10 years, they could be here for a year or two. I believe there's that trust factor between player and coach, and the decisions that we make, the hard decisions, because of the relationships that I've been able to form, there's honesty there, there's truth, and I don't think there's any reason for them to think otherwise. And so that's been the biggest change, is just trying not to, even though it's a different role, you still have to be who you are.
How's the stress level? How does the stress level change now that you're the guy? Even though the messaging might not change a whole lot, you might not change the way you play a whole lot, you might tweak certain things, but does the stress level change?
It's certainly not lower than it was before. Listen, Boston's a great hockey community, as we both know. Brick, we grew up here. There's pressure to win, so with pressure comes stress. But I feel at the end of the day, I look at it as, I was given an opportunity by management, a second opportunity to be a head coach again, which, it took 10 or 11 years, whatever it was. And when I said if it ever came around again, I was going to look at it in a different way. And I've been able to, over the last 11 years, grow from my experiences and learn from your experiences. But the bottom line is, at the end of the day, you have to enjoy what you're doing and take a step back sometimes and realize, like, this is what you wanted. Enjoy the ride. If you're prepared and you do the work, the stress level goes down, right? If you're not prepared and you're not doing that, then obviously that increases. But we have a great staff. We work hard. We try our best to prepare the team with a good game plan every night. And then hopefully the players go out and execute that game plan at a high level. And that's the way I look at it.
You mentioned the longevity, the 10 years plus with the Boston Bruins. There were some coaching changes. People were wondering, why is Joe Sacco getting passed over? Explain to us the relationship. I mean, you have to be a high-quality coach and a valued piece of the organization to stay in the position that you stayed in, through some of the changes. What's that relationship like with the Bruins, and how do you process how that all falls in place?
From day one, I've been very fortunate. It's been a great relationship with Cam and Donnie up top, obviously running the show. The first year it was Peter who was here, Shirelli, but then there was the change. But I've had a great relationship, and even with the coaches that have come in here, first I was able to work under Claude for a couple of years. Then I went to work with Bruce, and then obviously with Monty, and really good coaches. And I looked at it like it was an opportunity for me to learn and become a better coach because of those guys. There were certain things that each one of those guys brought to the table as a coach that I really admired. There was a lot of things, but there's certain things that you pick out and you see, okay, hey, this could work for me. I really believe in what they're saying and what they're doing. There's other things that may not work for you, but to have the trust from management, even through those coaching changes, that they wanted me to be a part of what was here, I'm pretty proud of that fact, and I'm thankful for that too as well.
Let's go back to the team, the current team. Where are they at mentally, emotionally, physically? Do they have the believability that they are certainly a playoff team? From your vision, what needs to improve? What areas of the game need to be better? Based on your philosophical tenets, what you believe in makes a quality NHL team. Where are you in relationship to wanting to be the team that you want to be?
Well, we're getting there. I think that since over the last 10 games, we've showed signs of improvements in different areas that I believe, and we believe as a staff, that we need to have so we can have success. Every coach has a belief system on how they should play. My belief system it just happens to be that I think that it starts from the goaltender out. I think that we have to be a team that defends really well all the time, not just sometimes, all the time. There has to be a commitment to checking from our group, because I believe that that's going to give us the best chance to win. And then I think from there, I think the offense will take care of itself if we look after our responsibilities away from the puck first. Like I said, defending, checking, making sure that we're managing it at the right time. But we've shown a lot of progress, but there's still a lot of work to be done. I think we still have a lot of room for improvement in those areas.
Lastly, and thanks for your time, as always. Always love our conversations. I don't know if this is a fair question to end the conversation on, but what's it going to take to get that interim tag off there?
I don't know the answer to that. But like I said, I'm trying to do the best job I can. The staff is as well. to help this team move forward. And our ultimate goal is obviously to get to the playoffs, but there's a process involved, and that's what we're trying to stick to on a daily basis. There's going to be highs and lows, and we're always trying to teach and correct, and then we move on. We lost a tough one last night. We worked on it today, and now we move forward. But like I said, I'm trying to enjoy it as well, and then we'll just see what happens.
Thanks, Joe.
Okay, thanks, Brett.
All right, bye.